Hi, I'm Chris Culp with the Manatee County Library System. I'm here today with Alyssa Page as part of our One Dozen Voices campaign. Welcome, Alyssa, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us today. What we're going to talk about is a little bit of what led you to be the confident young woman you are today. I was very impressed when I met you in our teen advisory board at the library. Now, you call yourself a bully survivor, and I know it has been a long journey to get to where you are today to be this strong girl in front of me. When you go to elementary school, most kids go to elementary thinking this is a great time in their life. They make new friends, they learn new things, but I know you had some additional challenges when that happened for you. So could you tell us a little bit about your experiences?
Yeah, definitely. I went to elementary school kind of being the different kid. I didn't quite get academics. I didn't really understand, as you would say, the groups that people were in. You know, you always have different kind of groups, and so my struggles mostly were with basically just trying to fit in, and so I was trying to get in with the wrong crowd because it was popular. I did a lot of things that emotionally hurt myself. I would do anything they wanted just to fit in, and totally struck everything.
Why do you think you were target especially? Why would they pick you?
I had stuff in my past before I went to elementary school that I was fearful with people, and for people who are bullies, it's like that with them. They see that.
They know who to peg in on.
Yeah, it's like an arrow on somebody's head. They sense it. Yeah.
Did you feel like you had any support at all from either classmates or teachers?
Until I was about 4th grade, 5th grade, I didn't feel any support.
Wow.
Yeah. I would go to the teachers, tell them what was going on. They would say, well, that's just one incident. You just need to get over it. Really, I didn't know what to do. A teacher wouldn't do it. I went to my parents, and I guess I didn't vocalize it very well because I was just so scared of what they might do to me if I was to say something.
Right. Probably a little bit of a fearful to speak out because they would retaliate.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Now, you had a sister at the school, too, at the time?
I did, yes.
Did that help a little bit?
It did help.
I feel like you had a...
Yeah, in 4th and 5th grade, mainly 4th grade, I really felt like I could lean on her because me and her relationship, it really grew during that time.
I'll bet.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there one incident that happened that made you just say, okay, enough of this, I'm going to stand up for myself and fight back, or?
Most definitely. I was at the end of a day of school, obviously, and I was going into the hallway, and I had a bully in front of me, a bully on the side, both sides, and then the back. And the one in front just stopped out of nowhere, and the one on the side, on the right, pushed me into the left one. The left one moved, slammed my head into the wall.
Wow.
I fell down. When I woke up, or came back up,
You
I
actually
guess.
passed out for a minute?
I don't know. It was like everything went black.
Right.
I saw people walking, teachers walking, people like laughing. I don't know how long it was, but I mean, when you see teachers walking.
That's not hard to believe.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so did anyone come and help you at that point? Did you feel like someone had reached out and helped you?
There was this one girl who helped me, and she just basically got me up and asked if I was okay and what my name was, and then I went to my sister's classroom. So she totally took control of the situation at that point.
Oh, that was a blessing at the time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Was there anyone then along the way? How old were you when this happened?
That specific event?
That event?
That happened when I was in 2nd grade, so, or 3rd grade. So probably like, I don't even know.
But
probably
you were that young?
Yeah.
Did you, at that point, did you get to the authorities then and make them realize, or maybe with your parents' help, that there really was a problem that needed to be addressed?
Well, like I said, it was hard to talk to my parents and vocalize that, but I did somehow find the strength to do that with my mom. And we went to the authorities the next day, and we set up a meeting with the principal and the teacher and the bullies. It didn't go so hot.
Didn't go very well.
No. When he called us down to the office, they threatened me to keep my mouth shut, and so that's basically what I did.
Wow.
And so I made it seem like my parents were misunderstood, or I was misunderstood, just because I was just so fearful of what they would do.
Right, because you'd had to go back out there after this confrontation and be classmates with these children.
Definitely, yeah.
And of course, their parents were probably denying that their
All the
children
way.
would be those type of children.
Yes. all the way.
Wow, that must have been very difficult. Very
Definitely.
difficult. When did you feel things got better for you in your life at this point?
I think things got better for me when my parents, put me into a private school in 6th and 7th grade. It really started really going good probably about a year ago after I made this organization, because I went to counseling. Started
Right,
counseling.
I'm sure you needed some.
Definitely. And so really started to deal with all this stuff, really pushed it along very well.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. And now when you look back on this, can you take anything positive from this experience? It's hard to say that now, to think there's anything positive from a horrible start.
Definitely. I can take positive the fact that I am what I am. I'm the way I am. I'm not going to change. And the way that they treated me just made me know that's how it's going to be in life, especially when I'm going to impact the world.
Right.
So this is just merely a story that I can relate to people, so I can just help everybody that I can.
Sadly, even in adulthood, you know, there will always be bullies in life, or people that aren't going to like you or agree with you. And if anything else, you've come out very strong from this experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And what do you feel like you can tell, what would you tell kids going through this today? And I know that's part of your mission, to help kids maybe that are dealing with this today.
Oh, what I would say, to cut it down, because there would be so much I wanted to help them with, but I would basically say, first of all, you need to voice it. You need to not be afraid of what they'll do to you, because that's such a vapor. It's an illusion that your mind gives yourself, because, yeah, you might get beat up after that, but then those bullies will know, you're not going to mess with me, because I'm going to do something, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
All right.
The consequences. So just voice it, stay strong, and the lies that you tell yourself about the effects of it, like I'm worth nothing, don't believe it, because your life is so priceless, so precious.
That's beautiful. I think if they could hear that, might give them the strength to carry on. And what do you think gave you the strength to not give in to this? I mean, many children can't recover from things like this that happen to them. What do you think gave you your strength?
My strength definitely became from my faith and my Christianity. My dad and my mom became more involved in my life when they noticed I was really struggling. And so I think with the faith and the struggling, it kind of evened out, and I had a support group, amazing support group behind me, getting into middle school.
Wow, that's key, to have a good, strong support group around you. And you've obviously come through it very nicely. Very nicely. Now, I know you wrote a nice essay for school that got some good notoriety. Would you be willing to read just a little bit of your essay? Because I think it leaves such a nice positive feel for what happened to you.
Definitely.
Okay, that'd be great if you'd share that with us, Alyssa.
Okay. Most people say you're on your own worst critic. However, if you thought you were beautiful and radiant from your first breath of life until now, until someone every day called you dull and ugly, and you started to feed on that so much it became your perception of reality, is that you being your worst critic, or the person you quote when you think about your self-worth? Where in the definition of beautiful is there the word skinny? The last time I checked, Webster's was talking about the expression of appearance, not the discrimination of appearance. Do not change yourself to fit into the guidelines of the normal, because when you do change yourself to fit into the guidelines, you emotionally hurt your own self As a result, into the future, you'll have a tendency to change for someone some way. Sooner or later, if you don't stop changing yourself, you'll become fearful that people will not like you. If you're anything like me, you really struggle with this. However, when I start to feel insecure or put myself down, I ponder these 3 things. 1, I am beautiful inside and out, no matter what. 2, what other people think of me is none of my business. That means whether the person's opinion of me is uplifting or negative. 3, that I am a child of God and I deserve love and peace. The more I say this, the more I believe it, and the less warped my reality becomes. So in conclusion, why would I let the normal control me? I am what I am, like it or not. I will not change for the normal. No need to, for I'm going to be confident in whose I am.
Oh, that's really nice, Alyssa. Thank you. And what do you think about those girls that bullied you, those horrible girls that bullied you today? Do you find a way to forgive them, or do you still hold this hatred for them?
To be honest, I still have a lot of hatred towards them. And that's really hard for me to say at this point because of going through counseling, but I'm learning how to forgive them because it's definitely what you have to do because it'll just hold you back. But I think that now I don't necessarily play the victim anymore.
Right.
I say their life must be really bad. I feel so bad for them. I want to help them. But then when I think about what they did to me, it's kind of like nagging. But
right.
I'm getting there. I definitely am.
Because I think they're struggling with their own problems, and they're in life. If they're going to continue to be that way, they're not going to be well received by other people, too.
Definitely. There's no other reason why you should treat somebody like that.
Yeah, why would you treat someone like that? And you have to live with that. So
exactly.
It's hard to forgive, but like you say, you can't be worried about what other people say about you.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to move on. Do you think it's just as difficult a situation for kids today in school? I think with the social media, does that make it harder?
Oh, I think it's way harder than what I went through. Now it's not the way you look, it's the way you talk, it's the kind of clothes that you wear, it's whether or not you use certain slang phrases, and it's all about do you act like this one person? Do you think about this one person instead of excel in who you are and be confident and be courageous in who you are?
Right. And what are some positive things that you're doing now in your life to... Oh, I guess because of what you've learned and dealt with. I know similar to like the Bully Advocate site you've started.
Definitely. I started the website, the Facebook page. I'm getting a bully support group together with the library system.
That's great.
Yes.
Yes, we're excited about that.
And also I'm going through counseling and encouraging others to go to counseling, getting different resources for different situations for people, and really just being an ear as well, because that's all I really wanted when I was being bullied, is just for somebody to just stop talking and just listen to me.
Right. I know in our tween book club, we have 8 to 12-year-olds, just in our conversations about the books we read, some of the bullying situations that has come out in discussion about these younger kids that are being bullied, and they open up with their peers and discuss it. And I think for someone like you that's lived through it and shown that you can come through it and be a strong young woman, I think that would give them a lot of confidence.
Definitely.
So we really appreciate you being here and sharing the story with us today. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but you've been wonderful about doing that. And as a librarian, I've got to ask you, do you have a special book that you love, a favorite book?
Yes, of course. It's about bullying.
Okay.
But it's The Wounded Spirit by Frank Peretti.
Oh, well, I'll read it. I haven't read that one, but thank you for that.
No problem. You have to kind of get into it in the middle of the book.
Right.
It takes a while, but it's really good.
Okay, well, that's great. I know it's good to have a book or two. There's many wonderful books written that deal with subjects like that in a fictionalized way where kids can relate and understand. There's many ways that children bully, many ways that are very cruel, and I experienced some of it even when I was in school too. But could you maybe give me some details of some of the other ways that the bullying occurred for you, or maybe some of the peers that you...
Definitely. I had like maybe a few months of bullying that happened online.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Maybe it's not just name calling, but it's the verbal abuse of whatever, I don't want to talk to you, you're not worth it. Maybe it's not saying, oh, you're a brat or something like that, but the fact that my words aren't important, or the way that you talk little of me, or basically verbally abusive without. Yes, you would have to incorporate some name calling, but.
Was it on like a Facebook situation
Yes,
where everybody
definitely.
was going to see it, like all the friends
Yeah.
would see it?
Some of it was in posts, some of it was in private messaging.
Wow. Did you try to respond back to this?
Yes, I was emotionally
Publicly?
unhealthy, so I was not the kindest person in the way. In fact, I was a bully back to them.
So you lashed out anger, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm. It's understandable, there's no right, but definitely, yeah. Whenever she called me, you hurt me, well, I'm gonna hurt you worse.
Right.
That was my mindset for the longest time.
And in school, in the classroom, did it continue, like in classes? Were there sort of a network of bullying that went on in the classroom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was stuff that would go on, like notes going around, hate list that would be going around.
Wow.
You know, maybe people did the hate list. I don't know how many on paper, but I know some did participated verbally. Some people would like draw stuff in my yearbook and stuff, and everybody kind of knew the joke that was going around except for me. So I guess that was kind of.
Right. Was this happening to other kids in the classroom as well as you? Did you feel like you were the main target, or was it like a few kids that were being bullied like this too, other people?
Yeah, there was I didn't really notice that when I was like younger, but when I was in 4th and 5th grade, I started to notice, it's not just me. It's literally a group of people, like certain types of people that are picking on everybody.
Just the mean group, pretty
Yeah,
much.
basically.
The clique, the sort of that consider themselves the in-clique.
Yeah, the clique.
for whatever reason. We called it clique. And did you try at this point to go to your teacher, or were you afraid of what they would say?
I did go to my teacher. The teacher started this contract thing where I would write what they did to me that day. I would put my signature. But the problem with that was, though, I couldn't say that they were doing anything to anybody else. But that's kind of not my business because they need to come forth their own selves. But maybe there was a situation where they punched my friend and verbally abused me, Maybe I couldn't voice that.
It was just what happened to you personally, and the teacher would sign it?
Yeah, and I would sign it, and then we would bring it to the principal.
How many of those do you remember doing?
Every day there was one. Every day. Sometimes there would be 3 or 4 of them a day.
Wow, so you had a compilation of all these papers.
Yeah.
And did the staff ever get together and discuss this with you or your parents?
My parents did with the people who were bullying me, the main 5 of them. There was more than that, though. Their parents came and they came. I wasn't present, but the principal was there and the teacher was there. So.
It was just parents and then the teacher.
And the kids, but except for me,
Right.
I wasn't there.
Was there any teacher or counselor that you felt stood up for you and believed really what was going on with you?
Most definitely. In 4th and 5th grade, I had the most amazing teacher in the whole entire world. She was the only one that would tell my bully, you just need to be quiet and you need to listen because this is what's going on.
Wow.
You're not going to treat my student like that because she's worth you respecting. She used to have this phrase, don't let anybody call you something outside your name. And
That's neat.
she would always do that. The bullies would always do that to me, and that's kind of like that stretch I got from her when she would teach me that.
Just having one strong teacher sometimes or somebody to stand up for you can make all the difference.
Yeah, and she listened.
And she listened to you.
Yeah.
Were there other kids that maybe came forward and saw what was going on, was like a witness for you? Or?
Oh, there was one person I really remember being a witness. Definitely more kids being bullied. But I don't really know how you want me to get into that. Like, you want me to...
Whatever you'd like to say about it. I mean, if you had one or two kids that you were like, wow, thank you, you stood up for me. Or,
Okay, yeah. I had one person who was really, really, she's like a sister to me today. She was there defending me as much as she could. But she was kind of like in with them, but didn't participate in the bullying part. It was kind of complicated, but...
Didn't like what was going on, but maybe she didn't want to lose her place and become a bullied
Yeah,
person.
but she had her boundaries and of how far they would let her go. And then, no, you need to stop that, That's the only person I really remember.
Being there for you. Wow. What do you think a kid today should do if they see something like this going on in school?
Oh, there's so many options, but to come down to a process, first, you need to tell an adult so it doesn't escalate. Then second, you need to confront the bully if nobody's around. Definitely do not go by yourself.
Because it takes courage to do that.
Exactly. You don't want so many people that there's so many bystanders that it gives the bully fuel, basically. But like you and 2 other friends confronting somebody, definitely. Or you and letting the person know that they're not alone. And being there with them. And definitely being surrounded by people all the time. Especially in school, that's what I would walk behind people and pretend to be their friend. I didn't even know them, just so somebody would just walk behind me.
Did you have some like a group of friends that you felt like you could feel safe with, like to sit with at the lunch table?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, that must have been difficult.
Yeah, there was only, in a class probably about 20, only 3 people didn't bully me. And that's one class out of like 7 classes in that grade.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think why that was that? The others were just afraid of the ringleaders, maybe?
Those people, one of them was really confident in themselves, and the other 2, they were so like sad. They had a personality that they didn't deal with their own stuff, kind of. Like they were just not available, kind of.
So it was more girls than the boys.
Oh, definitely,
It was
definitely.
a girl thing.
Yeah.
And that somehow made them feel superior. I can't imagine why it would.
But hey, if you're being abused at home, or if you got a problem going on at home that you didn't deal with, anger, when you lash out, I don't know if you knew this, but when you're angry for like 2 to 3 seconds, you get the same intense feeling that you do from the high of cocaine.
Wow.
So that kind of push, that superior feeling you get.
It sort of feeds on itself then,
Yeah,
and sort of
definitely.
takes over. And I think the online things today, it's such a chicken way to do it, because you're sitting at your computer and yet you can spew such poisonous things about a person out there.
Definitely. I kind of want to say that those people wouldn't say that to the person's face if they were to be confronted. But through my whole experience, that's not accurate. Most people wouldn't. Well, you know what? Let's not even say that. Let's say some people wouldn't really be the way that they are online. But most people, you say it to their face, they're that angry that they'll just be like, yeah, you're worth nothing. You're worth air. You know?
Wow. So they were just as verbally abusive face to face as they were in the social media.
Yeah.
But then more people see it that way, which is even worse. So did you feel like there were some steps that your family took when it was finally realized they were going to step up and get you some help? What were some steps, or what families would do today that you felt got you on the right track to healing or getting over this?
Okay. Well, most of it I really felt my family was not behind me. But what my family did do when I did feel like they were behind me, towards the end of 4th and 5th grade, they would tell the principal every time. My mom, she's so good at this. She is repetitious. Like, she will not play when it comes to messing with their child. So let's say one of them called me the B word. Well, okay, we're going to go to the principal, because the principal would do only what he can, but he didn't really believe me because of the past times when I would get scared. So she would just constantly do it until like he's like, okay, you know what? She can't lie this many times.
Wow, like they didn't almost believe you, you're saying?
Yeah, they didn't believe me because they would threaten me before we get into the office. So it's kind of like, okay, I talk to you and then I leave at the end of 20 minutes, or I'm stuck with them for the whole entire year.
Right. So you're afraid to say too much.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, most definitely. I think if the principal or the teachers would have just pulled me aside and asked me all these questions and would have separated us, I would have most likely said everything. Maybe with a whole box of tissues, but I would have definitely said everything.
Right. I'm surprised they didn't take you into a confidence type situation and where you could be open and not have other people involved.
Yeah.
To really open up. So when did you feel like you finally could just open up and let it all out? What really happened to you?
I still don't feel that way all the way. And that's kind of like a contradiction, being, oh, I have to help people and all, but I think the hole is so deep that right now we're getting there a step at a time. But most things I can say, most things that can be, hey, this is what happened, stuff like that. I think probably 6 months ago is when I started really, no, let's make that 8 months ago I could really say stuff and feel comfortable.
What are some positive things that have led you to that, feeling the way you are today?
My home situation has completely changed. It's a lot healthier now. So I feel like I can go to my dad and I can go to my sister and stuff like that and say, you know what, we need to deal with this. This has been bugging me. This is what happened in my past. Help me grieve this so I can just get over it. You know?
And then the counseling you said, has that been a big help?
Definitely. You know, because your parents can only say so much, but when the person knows how to get you there.
Right, someone professional.
Yeah, I think it's harder with families a little bit because, you know, for my dad, I know he's like, I wish I could have been there and stuff. Like, that's his own flesh and blood.
Right.
That he couldn't be there to defend, you know? So.
Do you think it's hard for kids to share this with their families when this happens?
Oh, most definitely.
Do you think it's very hard to open up and share with families?
Yes, because you don't want to disappoint your parent because people deal with things different ways. By some people will go the wrong path as far as being anorexic and stuff like that, or drinking or smoking or stuff like that. But there's other ways of people just not wanting to make their parents worry and stuff like that.
Right. Well, thank you for your frank discussion, Alyssa. You've been very open with us, and I think hopefully that will help others to have the courage to stand up and take some steps that you've taken.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. This is Chris Culp from Manatee County Library, thanking you for being with us today on a very important topic, and we want to thank METV for allowing us to have this program broadcast today. Thank you.